Yo, what's up, guys? Cory Sandhagen here. Hey, thanks for bearing with us because something got messed up with the YouTube monetization thing or whatever, and then it messed up the memberships or whatever. But here we are doing the 75K Q&A like we said that we were going to do. I know that we said we were going to do them a little bit more often than that, but I'm kind of a busy guy. I thought that I just overstretched a little bit. So we're going to do these every once in a while when I feel like it, pretty much. Just kidding. Kind of just kidding. But with the memberships, all right, you guys, I think, are able to get them again now, which is obviously good. We're doing Technique of the Week every week in the membership program, only $5 a month, because I listen to you guys go hard on me for trying to charge $20. My bad. I just didn't know that was the rules. Also, the instructionals, if you guys want more information, are on CorySandhagenMMA.com. Yeah, let's get into the video. First question. Okay. The question is, how do I manage stuff with my wife and my social life being a fighter? Okay, I don't have much of a social life, and I don't know why my wife loves me so much, so I don't really have an answer for you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, here's the deal. Fighting has to take priority in almost anything, okay? When I first started dating my wife, years and years ago, it was very understood. A couple times it had to be verbally said by me that fighting comes first over anything, okay? Obviously, I'm married now, so I put wife above fighting now. Like, I made a promise to her that, I would kind of do what she says to a certain extent. So until you get married, though, and that agreement really isn't in place, fighting has to take priority if you really want to do it with your life, okay? That's just how it has to be. She has to be cool with the fact that you're going to be probably pretty cranky, pretty tired, pretty hungry if you're cutting weight and doing all that stuff. It depends how serious you're taking it. Of course, if you just want to be a hobbyist and learn some shit so that you can beat up the drunk people on the street, then you don't really need to worry too much about that. But if you actually want to commit yourself to fighting, fighting has to be #1 priority. And if wife is going to be priority, it's only this much more. Don't tell her that I said that. Second thing, social life. I don't really have much of a social life. I got 3, 4, 5 friends that I feel like I hang out with, and then if they're busy, I just stay at home and watch horrible dating shows. So social life is something that, again, it doesn't even get near fighting as far as the priority goes. If you are I'm just kind of not a super social person anyways, but if you are a super social person and that does actually amp you up and give you some energy, then I say go for it. But if you're a little bit built like me and conversations are kind of sometimes exhausting when you have to have them all the time, then you just got to pretty much cut that out so that you have more energy for training, because training takes priority over everything. Cool, okay, I like this question. So this question was combinations that lead into shots, okay, or when is a good time to shoot, okay? First, let's go over the easiest way to get the shot, okay? At least the deepest way to get in on a shot. I talk about this all of the time in the instructionals. Again, CorySandhagenMMA.com if you guys want to learn more about it. The idea of a crash, okay? Most people fight like rams. We back up, we go like this, and then we charge each other. We back up, we go like this, we charge each other again, okay? That's what a decent amount of amateur fights look like. It's not good, okay? Crashing is when me and Elias both take a step in together at the same time like this, okay? You can sometimes feel it, you can feel here we go, and then other times there's a lot of tells and stuff, okay? But fitting in on if you 2 types of shots, right? Single legs, double legs. Getting double legs is pretty easy with a crash, okay? Because I have Elias coming to me, and I have I'm already way deep in his hips. I don't even need to do this really low penetration step here like this. I can just lower my level, take a tiny penetration step in, because he's usually taking a tiny step at me, okay? The thing that I would say with this is, know that if you're a professional, or even if you're amateur, because some amateurs will throw knees to the face too, depends on what state you're in, but this can get sketchy because you might run into a person that's gonna hit you how I hit Frankie Edgar, where when I shoot, boom, they're gonna crash by throwing their knee like this, okay? The way to kind of protect yourself from that is a lot of level changes. You hear that all the time in the UFC, level change, boom. That's pretty much just a feint at the legs so that they don't know that this motion is always going to be a shot. So you'll hear level change, level change. You want to definitely be doing that first, just like how if you're striking, you'd feint at people a little bit first to gauge their reaction and so that they can't really get too much tell on the way that you're moving your body. So level changes into shots, crashes into shots are good, okay? Another way, like as far as combination goes, one of my favorite ones is I have a very movement style base to me, okay? Some people are more grounded like this, and they have to do things a little bit differently just by the nature of the styles being differently, okay? For me, chasing people down and grabbing them is sometimes difficult, okay? So when me and Elias are moving around, boom, and we're here like this, and I go to level change and he backs up. If I just step this foot here as I jab, I'm going to be really long when I shoot. When I used to suck at shots, which I kind of still do a little bit, but I definitely don't suck as much. I would do this, I'd be like this, and then I'd just get sprawled on and flattened out like this, okay? When we're here and I want to use my jab to set up the shot, I'm gonna step my back foot in a tiny bit, boom, and then change my level and shoot. Instead of jabbing and then trying to change my level and shoot like this, okay? You're just not in an athletic stance after that. So when I jab, my back foot comes in a tiny bit instead of my front foot. Boom, from here, my hips are like really loaded for me to blast through something. So jab, back leg comes in, boom, shoot in on the double, okay? That's a really easy one. You could do that almost off of anything when they are backing up or whatever. I could hook and bring my back foot in and then shoot. I could throw an overhand, bring my back foot in and then shoot. Pretty much anything that gets you into the position of here, which is a good wrestling position to explode into a shot, is good. So if I want to go like hook, 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 the back foot comes in, and then I shoot, that's really the important piece. If I want to go uppercut, hook, overhand, I step this back foot in so that I can explode into my shot. And that's pretty much the simplest way. Don't think of martial arts in terms of like X, Y, A, B, A, A. It's not Mortal Kombat, okay? Don't think of martial arts in terms of that. Think about it as positional, and in certain times, in order to do things, you need to be in certain positions. In order to fit in on the legs, this is typically the position you need to be in, not obviously like this, or maybe even if you are a wide stance fighter like this. This is a little too wide, I don't have big drive. So think of things in position, in terms of position, not as much in terms of like, what punches do I throw that are gonna make the shot better? That's not really how it works. It's more about which punches do I throw that get me into position so that I can shoot the shot. And yeah, that's how they work. Is 22 too old to start training? I don't think so. I have a really close friend, Ton Lee. Well, I guess granted he was a pretty semi-accomplished TKD guy for a really long time, but Ton actually didn't even start training until he was 30 and then got all the way to the one championship belt, I think by like 36 or 37 or so. So you can definitely do it. It helps if you have like some sort of background in something a little bit. If you're, not everyone is cut out for fighting. It's probably going to take you a few years to figure out if you are cut out for it or not. But if you do have that dream, I don't think that 22 is too old to start. But here's the caveat is I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you that you're not playing at like a major deficit here, because you are. So if you are going to start at 22, you need to be the 22-year-old that probably doesn't have a lot else going on in life that's going to distract him, whether that be a job, a family, and all of that stuff, that's going to distract him from this place, so that you could be in the training room pretty much a lot, because you got a really big gap to clear. How do I balance my Eastern philosophy with making money? Pretty much, yeah. All right, we're getting a little bit deep here, you guys. Okay, I'm not gonna say that money doesn't matter, because money does matter. If there is like some type of like samsara or like cycle to incarnations and stuff, I'm not far enough in the, like incarnation cycle for me to not care about money. I definitely still care about money. But I think that with the Eastern philosophy piece, I'm assuming that you're talking about kind of this being in the moment, being present, not being worried, not being stressed, or at least avoiding that, and that usually comes by being present and being, focused on where you are. I'm assuming that that's what you're talking about when you say Eastern philosophy. Money still matters in that sense, but I would also say that there's like a trade-off in life, right? Like, I live like a very Eastern and Western way. You know what I mean? I wish that I was like some enlightened, like pure being that could just like ignore everything and just literally be where I am all the time. I try to be that in certain circumstances, but then sometimes there's times where you just gotta, care, and you gotta be a part of the world that you're interacting with, and that's just my personal beliefs. So yeah, I think that Eastern philosophy, as far as like being present and doing all of that stuff, is mega important in fighting. In the biggest context, as far as like a lifestyle goes, if your lifestyle is surrounded around being able to focus when you feel thoughts come into your brain, and you can settle them down and you can relax them and tell them to go away and then start to be present again, that in your life will 1000% make it way easier to do in the gym, I promise you. That's why I love fighting so much, is because the life and the fighting like intermingle so much. What I learn about life helps me in fighting, and what I learn about fighting helps me in life, which makes it super awesome. So I would say practicing that will also make you a better fighter, if that's something that you want to believe and go with. Top 5 favorite movies. How many you haven't even seen Lord of the Rings, you dork. Dude, Lord of the Rings is seriously like the absolute best movies you've ever seen in your life. Hobbit's good, but it's not Lord of the Rings. However many Lord of the Rings there are, I think there's there's at least 3, maybe 4, or at least 4, maybe 5. Anyways, the Lord of the Rings series is pretty much my only favorite movies. Okay, so the question is, how do I get away from having bad footwork habits after hitting the bag if I don't have sparring partners? So if you only have a heavy bag and that's like what you're working with, anytime that I hit mitts really hard, either with the coach or on the heavy bag really hard, I always make sure that I shadow box for at least like 5 to 10 minutes afterwards. That's really important. Our bodies are really good at remembering things, okay? If you train this thing to remember that all it cares about is throwing big power, that's what it's going to remember. If you teach it to throw big power on the heavy bag, and then you spend 5 or 10 minutes teaching it to go back to moving well and having good footwork and using all of your like other things that you don't get to practice on the heavy bag, your body will remember it. That's the way that I do it, because you will take in that like really hard hitting on the heavy bag or on mitts. You will take that into sparring, and you'll hit people harder, but you'll probably do worse. So yeah. Okay guys, last question to answer. So how do you disengage after you throw a combination? Okay. Obviously that changes a lot. Okay. Again, try not to think of martial arts in terms of like right hand, I roll to the right. Left hook, I roll to the left. Jab straight, I always go backwards. If I jab, I go under. Don't think of things in terms of that, okay? How you want to think about this thing is which exit makes the most sense with where I am, okay? You see this a lot in fundamental, like hobbyist kickboxing schools, because you have to learn the fundamentals, of course, anyways. They are going to teach you that like after you end on the left side, typically you step to the left. When you end on the right, you step to the right. And then obviously there's forward and backwards too, but we won't get into all of that, okay? The reason being is that after I throw my right hand, usually my shoulders are loaded to push myself off this way. If I finish with my left hand, my shoulders are positioned for me to exit off to my left side. That doesn't need to be the case though when you're a little bit better, okay? Or actually when you start sparring, that doesn't need to be the case. So a big one is, and you see this all the time in boxers, a lot of the time boxers will throw their jab and lean way hard to the right side, okay? They don't always go jab and then step out to the outside spot, which is like the fundamental way to do it. They do things that make more sense, okay? The way that you decide whether it makes sense or not is by how much easy access you have to the exit. So Elias, can I use you real quick? If Elias, okay, so that's based on the shoulder. So if me and Elias are fighting, it might be a little bit hard to see maybe at this angle, but I'll do a good job explaining it. So if I throw a combination on Elias, okay, and I'm already off to the side of Elias here, unless I'm trying to set something up or get him to throw at me in some way and move this direction, just stay over here, okay? One way to exit when you are already over here is I'm just going to step and circle my feet. Super simple step, right? Really basic, okay? That's if you just want to exit, like you scored your points, you hit them good, you want to get out before you start playing with too much fire. The other way is if I'm on my right side or I'm on his right shoulder, I can step my right foot really deep and crowd him more and put my head on his shoulder, okay? So when we're here like this, I land a combination. Doesn't make any sense for me to try to get all the way out in this direction, okay? Instead, I can either just keep circling this way, make him square up with me, but I've disengaged, or when I'm off to the side here, I can step my right foot deep, boom, and then square back up or continue my attack on his left shoulder, my right side, okay? So that's one way to disengage. The other way, if I'm on my left side and I'm already on this shoulder, don't try to step yourself back in front of him. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you worked to get off to the side of him for a half a second, like, enjoy it, okay? The way that we can exit from here, again, I can just step my left foot really small, just out. I can continue the angle. That way I have a little bit more time to get away, and I can disengage, okay? Or instead of just stepping here, I can, after I'm here, again, step really deep if I want to continue attacking him. And that step is going to look like here. I swing this, and my head is on his shoulder. The tighter I can be to his shoulder, typically the better. You have to watch out for spinning stuff. But if I'm here, Elias can maybe still hit me with that or this hand. If I am here, there's definitely no way that Elias can try to hit me, okay? And then, of course, the obvious, just exiting backwards. If I don't really have a shoulder or I'm a little bit of a longer fighter, after I land my combination, instead of disengaging off to the right or off to my left, I can always just pop my feet backwards, be in a good stance afterwards, and then if they step in, continue to attack, or just double pop out, circle, whatever you want to do after that, okay? But pretty much what you're looking for is which shoulder are you on and which one makes more sense to go towards, because one of them is, if you are on one of the shoulders, going to require you going back in the center of him where there's more danger instead of going to the outside. So that's how you want to think about it. That was the last question, guys. Again, like my apologies for whatever was going on with the membership thing. If you guys want to sign up to be a member, cool. Again, technique of the week. I think that's all that we got. Peace. I love you guys. Comment below so that I know, so that we have more questions too of what you guys want to have answered next time. And yeah, peace.